In so many ways, Bill Silverstein emulates the values and actions defined by Julius Rosenwald, and he proudly carries on that remarkable legacy. So we honor him here today, just as he has honored us with his service. Bill, please come up and accept this medallion. The inscription reads, presented to William Silverstein for distinguished achievement and leadership in advancing the cause of human welfare to the Jewish Federation. Your name is being added to the wall in the Federation building lobby that commemorates those who have received this honor. In the future, visitors will see the many extraordinary leaders of our community that we've had throughout the years, and that you're truly among them. Thank you, Mazel Tov, my friend Bill Silverstein.
Wow, thank you, Andy. Lonnie, Rabbi Schwab, Susie, family, cousins, friends, Chaverim, everyone who's here today. I think everything's been said, so maybe I just wrap it up quickly, everyone can go home. But I do have some things I'd like to say to the general group. I am honored, but also genuinely humbled to be presented with this incredible Rosenwald Award. But truth be told, when I was told the wonderful news last spring that I had been chosen to receive this award, I quite frankly was uncomfortable and somewhat hesitant to accept this honor. I don't really feel worthy to be in the company of the people who have won this before me, many of whom have been my lifelong mentors and personal heroes. Moreover, how can I be individually recognized for the work that was done only in the collective, always with a team, with other volunteers, staff, friends, and the broader community? But of course, in light of my overriding love for the community and respect for JUF, as I stand here today, I accept this award with all my heart and with sincere gratitude to all who have come before me, those who have partnered with me, and those who have made this possible. On a personal level, my thanks start with the people who bring the mitzvah and the mazel to my world, starting with my partner in life, my wife, Karen. Karen has always been my confidant and the greatest source of encouragement in all the work on behalf of the community. Karen has always provided me the push to step up and take every community role that I'm asked to do. Much of this work has been spending lots of evenings and even weeks away, and Karen has never complained, not once, about my being gone. Although the kids often joke she likes it better when I'm out of the house. And working with Karen together on community events has been the highlight of my communal work. Chairing Vanguard together, chairing Defiant Requiem together, and chairing the U.S. Holocaust Luncheon together. Karen, you've been my partner in life and with this award as well. And to my other partner, my brother Tom. My work in the community has also meant a lot of time away from our business, and my brother Tom, like Karen, has never been anything but supportive of my frequent absences. And when we make philanthropic decisions and contributions together as a family, Tom is always the first to raise his hand early in any discussion and say, "I've heard enough, let's do it." Tom, you're the perfect partner in both business and in philanthropy. And by the way, I have a couple Rosenwald meetings tomorrow. I won't be able to make it into the office. And my parents. When we talk about why we are active, the conversation always goes back to our parents, and I am no different. The experiences that my parents modeled have been an instrumental driving force for me. I grew up in a home that was not traditionally observant, but very, very Jewishly identified. My father's first impression of any person he meets is whether they are Jewish. Not to judge, but rather because he's looking for that special kinship. My parents truly see the world through the distinctive lens of Jewish values. My mother and father are lifelong donors to JUF, continuously for almost 60 years. And when you include my father's parents, my grandparents, my family has been continuously supporting our community since the 1940s, over 75 years. But even more important than the giving were the conversations about the giving. My parents take great pride in their tzedakah and always spoke about it to us in our home growing up. The size of their gift always matched the size of their lifestyle. And that's what shaped my values by understanding the priority they put on tzedakah. And thank you to my parents for sending me to Jewish day school, Solomon Schechter. It put me on a foundational path, so much so that Karen and I sent each of our children, Carly, Josh, and Brian, to Schechter ourselves, all of whom are here today from out of town. And it is our hope that you guys choose to send your children, our grandchildren, to day school. But kids, preferably in Chicago. You have already made me so proud, each of you, for the distinct and exemplary path in life that you each are pursuing. Each of you has taught me, in your own way, to be a better husband, better parent, and a better person. Each of you has given me the purpose and meaning to serve our community, L'Dor Vador. I grew up in a household that was active in Soviet Jewry movement. Our home in the 1970s was often turned into a petition drive warehouse as my parents helped raise awareness for the plight of Soviet Jews, making frequent trips to DC to lobby politicians. While they were a minor player in that movement, their activism had a major, major impact on me, modeling in real time the principle that all Jews are responsible for one another, Kol Yisrael Arazim Zeh Bazeh. And of course, there were family trips to Israel. Our first major Israel trip was touring Israel for 3 weeks in July of 1976. We woke up in the morning of July 4th in Tel Aviv to people celebrating in the streets. So naturally, we thought the excitement was over the U.S. bicentennial. But we soon learned through broken Hebrew and grainy television images of the successful rescue mission of the hijacked El Al plane in Entebbe. It was unforgettable, watching one of Israel's greatest moments of victory and success and seeing it through the eyes of Israelis and my brothers and parents. It was the epitome of our Jewish pride for our ancestral land of Israel, Am Yisrael Chai. And thank you to my Nachshon brothers, especially the 13 who I traveled with on our first trip to Israel during the Second Intifada in 2003. Another unforgettable Israel trip, but for very different reasons. When we arrived in May of 2003, it was a very difficult time in Israel. As many of you will recall, the daily bombings brought tourism to an abrupt halt. It's what the terrorists wanted, so as a group, we defiantly went. On the way from the airport to the hotel, we passed emergency crews cleaning up the aftermath of an Egged bus bombing in Jerusalem, the result of an attack that had happened while we were flying en route. When we got to the David Citadel Hotel, we found the hotel's doors locked. We had to knock to get someone to let us in. When we stepped inside, we realized the doors weren't only locked for security, they were locked because there were virtually no other guests staying there. The hotel was literally empty. For the next 4 days, we shopped in empty stores, ate in empty restaurants, and traveled down empty roads. It was transformative to see the depth of Israel's pain and redemptive for us to be there at that time. The country needed our help, and we were able to help, and we were able to get other people to help as well. And thank you to all who I traveled with in the next 17 Nachshon trips that followed, each amazing in its own way. And thank you to Jewish Chicago, the greatest community in the world, a big city with the intimacy of a small town. Here, when you meet someone, you don't ask where they went to college, you ask where they went to high school. Despite our horrible winter weather, people keep coming back. We're the most generationally connected large city in America. Again, Lador Vador. Even though there are 310,000 of us Jews, somehow we all seem to know each other. And all of the above is what makes community raising and fundraising fun and easy. It's the secret sauce and recipe of our great communal success. My first involvement in the organized Jewish community as an adult happened in about 2000. My daughter Carly was about to enter Schechter as a kindergartner. Karen and I went to the annual school benefit, the Benefactors Dinner. At that dinner, a friend suggested that I join the school's development committee. I naively asked, "What is a development committee? What's the school trying to develop?" It was politely explained to me that development in the nonprofit world is a fancy word for fundraising. So I joined, and I never looked back. Almost 20 years later, as I stand here today, I can honestly say that I have loved every single minute of my involvement and participation in our community, collaborating with professionals who care so deeply, partnering with other lay people who want to move the covenant a little further, promoting the weak, the vulnerable, and the disadvantaged. It has been an absolute joy. It is a daily reminder of my parents and grandparents and all the advantages and blessings that they have bestowed upon me and my family. Truth be told, as much as I am committed to my business life, the high point of any day are the meetings and conference calls on Jewish issues and charitable matters. No matter how much time and donations I may have given into our charitable system, I know I've gotten back tenfold more enjoyment and satisfaction. Apparently the adage, the more you give, the more you get, is 100% true. That's not to say there aren't challenges and disagreements along the way, but I've learned that a strong community is all about consensus. Divisions are toxic, and today we need to be more mindful of this than ever. There is a notion in our community that nonprofit organizations are all competing with one another and for the same scarce dollars. This is the wrong way to look at it. Organizations don't compete with each other. Organizations complement each other. We invest in next generation programs like Birthright and JOF Right Start, not at the expense of the elderly at CJE, but because of the elderly, because the young people we reach with these programs are the ones who will care for the elderly in years to come. And we give to the elderly not at the expense of young children in Jewish preschools, but because of preschoolers, because caring for the elderly is one of the ways young people can live in a community with strong Jewish values. And the great number of nonprofits in Chicago is a sign as to how strong our community actually is. It is our strength, and it all revolves around the professionals. We as lay people provide visions and energy to the professionals. We partner with them, but we also defer to their wisdom, expertise, and their passion. And Chicago has the brightest, most passionate, most committed group of professionals in the country, but it is up to us lay people to make sure that our professionals are always fully supported. And it was a group of professionals that was the driving force that moved me and my family, my brother Tom and my brother Ted, to embrace the Beis Hillel program. The Beis Hillel is an innovative redesign of the traditional Hillel concept. The program checks all the boxes. It's cost effective. Instead of a massive building at tremendous expense, it's a more affordable house with the warmth of a home. It's turnkey, it's scalable. It creates a landing place for the next generation, a feeling of community like you and I grew up with, that's good for the Jewish community, good for the neighborhood, and good for Chicago. The concept was presented again to me and my brothers Tom and Ted, and they immediately agreed that we should all do this as a family. And I'm so glad to report that the program is about to open its third Beis Hillel in the coming months. So as I conclude, I'd like to circle back to why I was initially reluctant to receive this honor. I have always seen JUF as a living, breathing manifestation of our community. When it comes to fundraising or recruiting for a mission or assembling a lay committee to work on an issue or project, people need to be called, to be energized, to be engaged, to be brought to Israel, and yes, to be solicited. All I have done is taken my turn, and along the way I have learned that people want to be engaged, they want to participate, they want to contribute. The covet for the community belongs to the community itself and to each of the members of our community who've chosen to participate. And in Chicago, our success belongs to the tens of thousands who choose to participate every day. Our Jewish community is bigger than any individual. It is a master painting, a canvas consisting of 120 years of brushstrokes that tells a story. This painting was started by our great-grandparents and continued by our grandparents and parents, and is in the care and custody of my generation today as we continue to paint. Whether chairman of the board of JUF or volunteer at one of the ARC locations, or participating at a committee meeting at one of your synagogues, or simply making a contribution to your favorite charity, each of these communal acts is an opportunity to add your brushstroke to our communal painting. And I'm excited for my children and for all of our children, for the next generation, many of whom are in this room today, to grab that brush and put their stroke on our brilliant communal picture. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me an unbelievable opportunity, entrusting me with the work of our community, and allowing me to add my brushstroke to this masterpiece. And I pledge to you that I will continue to work and give on behalf of our community to help Chicago continue to be the greatest, most cohesive, most generous community in the world. Thank you.